Hello, how's your day going? It's Batman. Does stuff here. And today we are going through State of Origin and round 16 of the NRL Telstra Premiership and State of Origin Game 2 previews and tips. So let's head to the lineups and the game itself. So Game 2 of the State of Origin continues at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane. Queensland Maroons up against the New South Wales Blues. Now, for the Blues, they need to win this game if they want to win the series. So let's see the lineups that Brad Fittler and Billy Slater have come up with. For the home team, the Maroons, Reece Walsh is the fullback. Valentine Holmes and Hamiso W.I. Fido keep their centres positions. Xavier Coates comes in for Selwyn Cobbo, and Murray Taulagi remains as their left winger. Now, in the halves, pretty much the same. Cameron Munster at 5'8" and Daly Cherry Evans at halfback. With the forwards, Lindsay Collins and Tino Fasila-Malaawi and Ben Hunt hooker. For the second rowers, David Fafita and Jeremiah Nanai returns to the back row and returns to the Queensland squad. Pat Carrigan locks is the lock. The bench, Harry Grant, Thomas Flegler and Ruben Cotter and Manu Fotuaika. Manu Fotuaika is back in the Queensland jersey. Now for our New South Wales Blues. James Tedesco is the captain and fullback. Stephen Crichton and Tom Trebojevic, our centres, as Stephen Crichton again comes in for Latrell Mitchell. Wings are Brian Toto and Josh Addo-Carr. The halves, Jerome Luai at 5'8". Mitchell Moses, Parramatta Eels halfback, comes in for Nathan Cleary. Forwards, Junior Paulo and Payne Haas, and Damien Cook returns in the number 9 jersey in Origin football. Second rowers, Tyson Frizzell and Hudson Young, and Isaiah Yeo locks down the scrum. On the bench, Stefano Utoikamanu on debut for New South Wales at number 14, Cam Murray and Liam Martin, who was outstanding in Game 1. Reece Robson is in the 17, and the reserves, AJ Brimson is the Queensland replacement, Matt Burton is the New South Wales replacement, and the reserves, Corey Horsburgh, I'm surprised he didn't get picked in the starting 17, and Keon Kilamatangi. The coaches are pretty much Brad Fittler and Billy Slater. Referees, Ashley Klein. Anyway, we're not going through the referees. I'm a proud New South Wales supporter, right? So the only way we can win this game is by going through them and with great kicking game out of trouble. And the big thing is our defence, because our defence was not up to date in Game 1. Let's see how much they've improved, and I am going the New South Wales Blues. I think, ideally, I reckon we'll win by 2. I think the Maroons, they should be winning this game, but I have to go with the Blues. I have to go with my heart, and my heart says the Blues. So, alright, let's move on to the NRL now. First game of the round 17 clash. It's the Dragons and the Warriors. Now, as for the Dragons, the home team, the Dragons, who are haven't been playing some good footy at the moment. So, and the Warriors have been playing some really, really good footy. Sean Johnson returning to his best. Dallin Watene-Zelezniak has been in great form. Adam Pompey's been in great form. Chansey Nickel-Clookster has been playing some good footy. As for the Dragons, Tyrell Sloan is at fullback. Matthew Fionney and Michaeli Ravalawa are the wings. The centres, Moses Sully and Zach Lomax. And the halves, Jaden Sullivan and Ben Hunt, captain. Forward pack, Francis Molo and Jacob Little. Blake Lowry returns. Is back. Second rowers, Jack Bird, Jaden Sewer, and Jack DeBella knocks down the scrum. Interchange bench, Tal Lamone, Michael Molo, brother of Francis, Ben Murdoch Marcilla, and Zane Musgrove. As for the Warriors, Chansey Nickel-Clookster is at fullback, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak and Marcelo Montoya are the wings. He's been in great form too. Rocco Berry and Adam Pompey are the centres. Halves are Luke Metcalf and Sean Johnson. And the forward pack is Adam Fanua-Blake, Wade Egan at hooker, and Bunty Arfoa. The second row is Jackson Ford gets to go up against his former club for the first time. Murata Niokore is the other one, and Toru Harris is the skipper and locks down the scrum. Interchange bench, Dylan Walker, Josh Curran, Bailey Sirinen, and Tom Eli. I don't think that's his name, but anyway. I like the Warriors here. I just think the Warriors have been far more better than the Dragons at the moment. Like, I don't know if Ben Hunt's going to be backing up from Origin, but he's named in the side. But I doubt he will play because what happened to Nathan Cleary earlier after game one when he backed up against the same side, the Dragons, he got a hamstring. So I'd say Ryan Carr will keep it safe. But if he does play, I think it'll be a closer game than people think. But if he doesn't play, Warriors, I think Warriors 13 plus, I would say it'd be by 18, I reckon. 30 points to 12. I won't be surprised if it'd be 60 or 50, but I just think the Dragons lose by 18, 30 points to 12. First try scorer. You know what? I'm going to go with... I think the Dragons will score first. I do think, just to get the home fans into the crowd, and I'm going to go with... I could be wrong, by the way, so... no, I'm going to go the Warriors. I'm going to go Marcelo Montoya to score the first try, and... Zach Lomax to score at any time. That is my prediction for the first game of round 16. Now we go back to the... still learning all this. Here we go. Second game is the new boys, the Redcliffe the Dolphins up against my Parramatta Eels. Now, as for the Dolphins, Hamiso W.Y. Fido is at fullback to back up from Origin. Jermaine Asako and Braden McGrady gets to play his first game in the NRL. Ewan Aiken and Valis Defare are the centres. Halves are Cody Nikorima and Isaiah Katoa. Now the forward packs. Now The forwards is the experienced Jesse Bromwich, the captain, Jeremy Marshall King at hooker, Herman SASA, Herman SASA, the back rowers, Felice Kafusi and Kenny Bromwich, experienced Storm, and Ray Stone locks down against his former club for the first time. The bench, Josh Kerr makes his Dolphins debut after a mid-season switch from the Dragons, which is a good signing by the way. The GOAT, Mark Nichols, Connolly Lelulelu, and Max Plath will make his NRL debut. And Harrison Graham and Sean O'Sullivan's in the reserves, so he might be a chance of playing. And Pusa Fasila Malawi, another, and Robert Jennings and Kurt Donahue. Now, as for the Parramatta Eels, Clint Gutherson is at fullback, Micah Sebo and Sean Russell are the wingers. Will Penasini and Bailey Simonson are the centres. The halves, DJ Arnasi and Mitchell Moses returns to back up from Origin. The forwards and the hooker, Regan Campbell-Gillard and Junior Paulo. Braden Hands is that hooker, with Josh Hodgson out with a neck injury. Unfortunately, he'll be out for another couple of weeks. Second rowers, Bryce Cartwright has been playing some good footy. Andrew Davey and Jermaine Hopgood has just been outstanding for Parramatta. Interchange bench, Ovafigi Ogden, Joa Fangawi, Ryan Madison and Mekahezi Makatoa. And the reserves is Hayes Dunster, Matt Dory, Luca Moretti and Wonga Blake and Sean Lane. Which means Sean Lane could be a chance of playing too, so we'll see what Brad Arthur decides with that. This will be a tough game for us and a big test for us. And I know we're going in as favourites, and at the moment, I think I'm tipping Parramatta. I always tip Parramatta because it's my team, and plus I think we can win games on our day. And Mitchell Moses has been playing some good footy in big games, and Clint Gutherson has just been full of effort for us this year, and he's probably. And Jermaine Hopgood, I've been really impressed with Jermaine Hopgood, and I'm surprised that Billy Slater hasn't picked him in the Origin side or in the squad. But he'll be getting close to an Origin jersey. He's been the leading offloader this year, and as for the Dolphins, the Dolphins have been playing some good footy. They've been playing some great footy, and their halves have been playing some good footy. Isaiah Katala's been playing some good footy. Cody Nikaruma's back in the halves. His running game has been good. Ewan Aiken's been impressive. And their forward pack is the most experienced forward pack in the comp to date. For a club that just started this year to have experienced forward pack in the comp is incredible, and that shows why Wayne Bennett is such a great coach. And I won't be surprised if they win this though. The Dolphins, they lost 59 to 58 points to 18 against the Manly Seagulls, or was it? I'll have a look later. But I am going to tip Parramatta, but I think we'll win this by 2. I think the Dolphins, after a bye, I think they'll be recuperated and ready for this game. So I'm tipping Parramatta. I think it'll be a very low-scoring game, but at the same time, I think it's high-scoring. It's pretty in between, with with the Dolphins and Eels because the Eels are inconsistent. The Dolphins have been consistently, but towards they're starting to fall away a little bit. But um, I'm going to say Parramatta 18 points to 16. The Eels beat the Dolphins on Saturday. Next up is the the understrength Penrith Panthers up against the Newcastle Knights. Now, as for the Panthers, Dylan Edwards is at fullback, and Taruva and Brian Toto are the wings. Backing up from Origin is Brian Toto. Isaac Tago and Stephen Crichton are the centres. Stephen Crichton is obviously backing up from Origin. Jerome Luai backing up from Origin alongside Jack Cogger, who is still replacing the injured Nathan Cleary who suffered a hamstring. The forward pack, Moses Leota and James Fisher-Harris, and Mitch Kenny is the hooker. Scott Sorensen and Liam Martin are the back rowers, and Isaiah Yeo returns as captain to lock down the scrum and returns from his Origin duties. Interchange bench, Sonny Luke, Lindsay Smith, Spencer Leniu, and Jamin Salmon are the bench for the Panthers. As for the Newcastle Knights, Kalen Ponga is at fullback, Dominic Young and Greg Marju, the beast Greg Marju, in at the wing, on the wings. Dane Gagai and Bradman Best are the centres. The halves is Tyson Gamble and Jackson Hastings. Forward pack, Daniel Saifidi and Leo Thompson, and Phoenix Crossland is at hooker replacing the injured Jaden Brayley, who's out for the season, unfortunately, with an ACL injury. The back rowers are Tyson Frizzell, Dylan Lucas makes his NRL debut, and Adam Elliott is at lock. On the interchange bench, Kurt Mann, Jacob Saifidi, Jack Hetherington, and Matt Croker. And the interchange, there's the reserves. I'm surprised Lachlan Miller's not in the reserves, but anyway. Now, these two recently played early in the year with the Panthers getting home in Golden Point thanks to a Nathan Cleary boot, winning 13 points to 12. Now, the Panthers, I am going the Panthers here. They lost last week to the Cowboys 23 points to 20, 27 points to 23 in Golden Point, and that was a phenomenal game. And you got to feel sorry for these young Panthers last week. There was a few calls didn't go their way, and but I am tipping Penrith. I think Newcastle are starting to drop off again. I sense that, and like when you start losing by small margins, you start losing by big margins. Now, as for the Panthers, I think they'll wipe the floor with Newcastle, but I won't be surprised if Newcastle turn up to this game. You know why? I think why? Because they were so close. They should have won that game last time, the Knights. And honestly, even though the Panthers had the better possession, Newcastle were dominating when they got it right in attack. They got it right in defence. But again, this Penrith outfit just always show up in big games and show up in games, and you got to expect that from Newcastle. But I am going the Panthers. I think the Panthers will be a little bit too good for Newcastle here, and I'm going to say Penrith. I reckon they'll put probably 30 or 40 on them, but just to be fair on Newcastle fans, I will say the Panthers will win by 13 plus. I'm going to say Penrith 30 points to 14. I think it'll be tight at halftime. I think it'll be tight at halftime, and then the Panthers will just run away with it. So in the second half, because they play their best football in the second half. So um, I am going to say Penrith 30 points to 14. Penrith by 16. Penrith by 14. So um, hopefully they'll get the job done. Next up, the rematch of the Battle of Brookvale between the Melbourne Storm and the Sea Eagles. Now, these two clubs hate each other so much, and even though um, the now, as for the Storm, and when you think about it, when these two clubs meet, there is always going to be a punch up, and there's always going to be a fight, and I think this is going to be a phenomenal game. Manly were pretty disappointed last week against Parramatta. They absolute. I'm not yelling.
You are. I can hear you with the door closed, mate. And so, Mum. That loud. Baby down, please. We're going to bed.
Now I've forgotten what to say. Sea Eagles be very disappointed the way they turned to Combank last week against Parramatta. They got their butt whooped by Parramatta, and they will want to show up with their big stars back, and they will want to show a bit of greediness because they've been inconsistent. They've been very inconsistent like Parramatta. They've been inconsistent like the Raiders. They've been inconsistent like the Roosters. Now, the Storm are pretty much the same. Even though they're in third spot, they got a very good win over the West Tigers, 28 points to 6. And Manly suffered 34 points to 4 against the Parramatta Eels. Let's have a look at the lineups. At fullback, Nick Meaney. Now, the wingers, Will Warbrick and Xavier Coates. The centres are Remus Smith and Justin Olam returns from an injury. The halves, Cameron Munster returns from Origin, and Jerome Hughes is at halfback. The forward pack, Tom Eisenhuth and Christian Welsh, and Harry Grant is the hooker backing up from Origin duties. Second rowers, Trent Liero, Nelson Osofa Solomona, Big Nelson, he should be in the forward pack, and Josh King is at lock and locks out the scrum. Interchange bench, Bronson Garlick, who was outstanding last week, Tarek Sims, Aaron Penne, and Tyron Wishart. As for Manly, KO Wicks is at fullback, Jason Saab and Christian Tuipulotu is on the wings, and Totu Kola and Ruben Garrick are the centres. I don't know why Cherry. And the halves are Josh Schuster and Daly Cherry Evans. This is the thing. Like, why would you rest Tommy and not rest Daly? But I know Daly's a heart and soul to this team, but from looking at this at the moment, all right, forward packs is Tana Paseka and Curtis Sipley, and Lachlan Croker is at 9. I've been really impressed with Lachlan Croker this year. Second rowers, Elu Helamali Olakawatu, Ethan Bullymore, and Sean Kepi locks out the scrum. Interchange bench is Carl Lawton, Josh Aloye, Aaron Woods, and Ben Condon. Now, Manly won 12-8 in this game last time at 4 Points Park. Now, the Storm, they're at home, and I think the Storm will win 3 in a row. Looking at this Manly side at the moment, I think, to me, in my opinion, they shouldn't be a top 8 team. In my opinion, Manly, and like they're a good side. They've got good players in there, but I just don't think it's too much attack and not much of the defence. And we saw that in 2021 when Turbo was just lightning quick, outstanding. Cherry Evans playing up some good footy. They made the top 4 that year, and when they got to the finals, gone to the finals, they got absolutely hammered by Melbourne and South. So I'm tipping Melbourne, and I think Melbourne will win. I think it'll be a tight one because Manly, after last week, I think they will be up for this, and I think there'll be a few punch ups. But yeah, I'm gonna go the Storm, and I'm gonna go with the first try scorer. I think will be Justin Olam. In his return, I think he'll barge over and up against Ruben Garrick and Christian Tuipulotu because those two don't work well together and because they haven't played together because Garrick's been on the wing pretty much all his time at Manly. So I'm going to go the Storm. And I think it'll be a 12 point. I think it would be by 12. And I'm going to go the Storm. No, it won't be by 12. I reckon it'll be by 6. 26 points to 20. Or 24 points to 18. Around about that scoreline. And the Storm will win. And I'm going to go with Jason Saab at any time. First game of Sunday football, the Broncos and the Titans. The Broncos currently first on the ladder again. They've been playing some very good footy, and as for the Titans, they've been inconsistent, and buys have been really hurting them lately, giving them staying in the top 8 fight. As for everybody, to be honest, but and they've only been playing 40 minutes. They haven't been playing for the full 80. And I think a bye would really help them. In their quest. As for the Broncos, the home teams, Reece Walsh returns after his stint at Origin. Corey Oates and Selwyn Cobbo are the wings. Katoni Staggs and Herbie Farmworth are the centres. The halves, Ezra Mann and Adam Reynolds. The forward pack is Thomas Flegler backing up from Thomas Flegler and Payne Haas backing up from Origin, and Billy Walters is the hooker. For the second rowers, Brendan Pucara makes his NRL debut with Kirk Catewell out. I think he's got concussion. And Jordan Ricky. Pat Carrigan gets to block out the scrum and back up from Origin. Interchange bench, Tyson Smoothie. He's been makes his first game in first grade this year. Corey Jensen, Kobe Hetherington, and Martin Tapau. And as the reserves, here they are. If you want to have a look at the reserves, I don't know why Corey Pates is in the reserves. He's been playing some good footy for the Broncos this year. As for the Titans, AJ Brimson's at fullback. Alafana Akam Pereira, who's been playing some very good footy and scoring some good tries. Brian Kelly and Alfred Akam Pereira and Philip Sami are the wingers. Brian Kelly and Aaron Shop are the centres. Kieran Foran back at 5'8", and Tanner Boyd, who's been playing some good footy, kicking well. His goal kicking hasn't been great as of late, but he's been playing some good footy nevertheless. Marty Fodawaker is back from backing up from Origin, so is Tino Fasil Malawi, and Sam Verrills is back in the hooking role. David Fafita backing up from Origin alongside Joe Simpson, experienced Joe Simpson, and experience of Isaac Liu at lock. At the interchange bench for the Titans, Jaden Campbell, Aaron Clark, Jamin Jolliffe, and Khalees Haas gets to play up against his brother for the first time. I'm going to go the Broncos here. I think it'll be close than what people think, because this is a derby. It is up at Suncorp. The Broncos have been really good at Suncorp this year, but I think this could go to Golden Point. I really do. And in my opinion, looking at this, I think the Titans can play 80 minutes. They got good players there. They got Foran, Boyd, that's Tanner Boyd, Big Tino, Jaden Campbell coming off the bench, AJ Brimson, who comes up with some big plays, and again about Khan Pereira, who's been playing some good footy, scoring plenty of tries, and I'm going to go the Broncos by 1. I reckon an Adam Reynolds field goal will get them home. First try scorer, Selwyn Cobbo, anytime. You know what? I like Brian Kelly for the Titans. I think he's been playing some good footy, and he deserves probably a try. And he's due for 1, 2. Last game of the round, or second last game of the round, the Rabbitohs and the Cowboys. The Rabbitohs coming off a bye and a loss to the Dragons, as you say, as they're in a bit of injury crisis, the informed Rabbitohs. And as for the Cowboys, they got an upset win over the Panthers last week. They came up with plenty of fight. They were exhausted after that Golden Point match, and I think that's going to hurt them in this game. So let's have a look and see who is in and out for this game for the Rabbitohs and the Cowboys. So, as for the Rabbitohs, Blake Taff is still at fullback. Alex Johnston and Richard Kenner are the wingers. Centres, Isaiah Tass has been playing some good footy. So has Campbell Graham in the centres. I'll come back to it. Cody Walker is back from his quad injury alongside Lachlan Ilias. The forward pack, Tavita Totola and Hame Sele and Damien Cook, after a stint at Origin, is at hooker, and Keon Tilamatangi is at lock. Jed Cartwright and Cam Murray, the captain, is backing up from Origin. Interchange bench, Michael Cheekham or Cheekham and Saliva Havili, David Mawali, and Thomas Burgess is back for the Rabbitohs. Tom Burgess should be in the starting side. I don't know why he's on the bench. But anyway, that's what Jason Demetriou wants. As for the Cowboys and Todd Payton's men, Scott Drinkwater, who scored the match winner against the Panthers last week, and Kyle Felt, it returns on his side of the field, and Semi Valame is on the other wing. Zach Labert and Peter Hiku are the centres, which means Valentine Holmes is going to get another rest, which is good. At least some coaches are being smart. Tom Dearden and Chad Townsend are the halves, and Chad Townsend is the skipper. Forward pack is Jordan McLean and Cohen Hess, and Jake Granville, his second game back in the hooker role. Luciano Leilua and Kalofu Fuaki is the second rower, who's played a great game last week. Jason Taumalolo is at lock. Sam McIntyre gets to play his second game as a Cowboy after leaving the Titans. Griffin Neem, Jamin Tanoa Brown, and Jack Kajeski. Now, actually, Valentine Holmes is in the reserve, so he's a chance of playing. So is Ruby Cotter and Murray Taulungi. So it's a closer game than people think, but I think the Cowboys will be too exhausted towards the back end of the game, and that's probably what's going to cost them. But I'm going to go the Rabbitohs by 4. I think the Rabbitohs, the Bunnies will win. They've been in great form, and they're competition favourites for a reason, and they've been the most consistent team all year, even though injuries have crisis and they've lost some games that probably they should have won, and they've topped off the Panthers in the last 3 minutes, and again with no Latrell Mitchell, I think the Rabbitohs are still going to be fired up. They got Cody Walker back, their number 6 back, and I'm going to go the Rabbitohs by 4. I'm going to go the Rabbitohs 24-20, but I reckon the Cowboys will score first. I can bet you on that, and I think the Cowboys will score first, and I'm going to go with Scotty Drinkwater and Alex Johnston at any time. I didn't get any time try scorers on the other games or first try scorers, so I'll rephrase you with those games that I've picked that I haven't chosen. As for this 2019 Grand Final replay, the Roosters up against the Raiders at Allianz Stadium. As for the Roosters, who got a much needed win over the Newcastle Knights, but they might be without Luke Keary this week at the moment. As for the Roosters, the home team, James Tedesco returns back at fullback after a stint at Origin. Daniel Tupou and Junior Pawanga are the wingers. Billy Smith and Joseph Manu are the centres. Luke Keary and Sandon Smith are the halves. The forward pack, Jared Waria-Hargreaves and Lindsay Collins. And Jake Turpin is at hooker. Second rowers are Egan Butcher and Satili Tupanua. And Victor Radley is at lock. It's good to see Satili back in the starting lineup. Interchange bench is Angus Crichton, Nathan Brown, Nat Butcher, and Nefanu White. As for the Raiders, who've been playing some good footy as well, as of late, they have been playing some good footy. And at fullback, Sebastian Chris. The wingers are Albert Hopewadi and Jordan Rapana. The centres is skipper Jarrod Croker and Matthew Tibico. Halves, Jack Whiten and Jamal Fogarty. Forward packs, Josh Papali'i and Joseph Tarpany, and Zach Wolford is the hooker. Second rowers is Hudson Young backing up from Origin, and the Pommy man himself, Elliot Whitehead, the co-captain, and Corey Horsburgh at lock Big Red. The interchange bench. Tom Starling, Emre Gula, Nick Kotrick on the bench, and Pasami Solo. Very interesting. Like I said, the Roosters need to win this game, and they have to win it at this stage, because if they lose this, they are gone. Count them out, because even if it's by 6 or 4, they'll be gone. And I am going to tip the Roosters, but it's going to be a tight one, because the Raiders can fight to the death, as we've seen a lot this year. And I am going the Raiders to score first, though. I am going to go with Jarrod Croker in his 301st game to score the first try, and the Roosters to win, and James Tedesco to score at any time. Because Teddy hasn't scored much this year, and he needs some tries just to give the Roosters a bit of hope of staying in the battle for a top 8 or a top 4 spot. So there are my tips. And for the first try scorer for the Eels and Dolphins game, that's the thing I didn't pick. I think we will score first. I really do, and I think I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Jermaine Hopgood. He's been playing some good footy, and he scored last week, and I think he will score again this week, and this time it's off another kick, and I think it'll be a Moses kick into the goal if Moses is playing, and I'll be surprised if he doesn't play, if he does play. So, and as for the Panthers, I would go with Stephen Crichton as the first try scorer. Anytime, I think Kalen Ponga. That's about it. Hope you enjoy the video. Like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and hope you'll see more of these videos. And remember, it's not who you are that's underneath. It's what you do that defines you.